My name is actually Dr. Mombola. I'm a medical doctor by profession, and I'm a rapper. So you won't see me like this. This is very weird for me. But I have brand strategists that tell me, Linus, this is what you. My topic actually today, I'm talking about dream chasing. And a lot of people ask me, Linus, how are you a doctor and how are you a rapper? It doesn't make sense. These are both equally demanding careers, equally demanding paths, and they're totally opposite. People don't expect to see a rapper, treating you at a hospital or any sort of art form. And so every time they ask me, how do you do it? How do you do it? I never really had an answer. I was always like, I don't know. I don't know. And I'd laugh it off with my nervous laugh. I wasn't really entirely sure. And I can really relate to Shaz because the time that I lost my mother, I had an awakening. And so things became very superficial into a spiritual world that I'm still trying to understand. And in all of this, I understood who I am and what my purpose is. And I'm still figuring it out. So I wrote a little list. And please, this pertains to me. It's not a formula that will work for everybody that I need to explain. Because I've seen a couple of med students, just interns, who have lost their minds, and not in the comical sense, in the actual, they've really lost their minds. And it's very unfortunate because medicine is such a very, very demanding field. It's not for everyone, okay? And I've noticed that it's not just because, like, some people could be lawyers and they're rappers, like Gigs. He's actually a lawyer. And some people could be, painters, and they could be accountants. So it's like, it works for everybody. And so the reason that I'm here is to share my side of the story and my little list that I put together. I put a little list, which is 6 Ps. I'm at 6 Ps. I was at 4, 3, 2, but it's my little formula called 6 Ps, and I will substantiate on it, obviously. I'm a little shy, sorry, I'm really not a talker. I just talk to my patients or the mic. Okay, so the first P is push. Now, this really comes from the time where I was born. Well, I don't know the beginning stages of my life, but I know that I was raised by a single mother for the most part of my life. And she was one person who knew the spirit of excellence. She worked so hard. So she was a lawyer. By profession, she was also a lecturer. And she studied law when she had 2 kids, just newly out of a divorce, 2 children that she had to put through school. She was merely just a lecturer, so she didn't have, a lot of money or financial help. And she was also the only child at that time taking care of her mother. So there I learned responsibility, there I learned hard work, and there I learned to push myself. So I think it's more of an influence thing where I saw my mother not sleeping, really pushing for what she wanted. And so when I started med school and I started rapping early in my high school years, I always wanted to do things and be best at it. I never wanted to go half. And I think that was a very important lesson for me because now I'm able to adapt and really bring this forward in my professional life, that if things need to be done, they need to be done. Not just, I'll do it because. So the second P is patience. So when I started rapping, Harry knows me from actually maybe just after puberty. I was rapping with guys and I was like, okay, like, who are these men? Why do they think they're better than me? I have something to prove. And so I would go to studio and I actually would sit down and I would write music and they wouldn't let me rap. And a lot of people have this notion of, hip hop is a male dominated industry. And to some extent, I think it's just resistance from the audience because they saw rap to have this connotation of, well, everyone has their own perception, but rap was very grunge. It was very, in the corners rapping, saying foul things that, not everyone did, but that was the connotation that they had. And it was very awkward to have a female in that space doing that. Like, what are you doing there? You should be at home, cooking, being lady and all of that. So, translating back to my mother, I also had a point to prove because I didn't grow up with a dad, so I have daddy issues. And I had to show that why can't I do what they're doing? It was just a thing also, I think, of ego, where I was like, I can do this. So I went to studios. I was like, yeah, let me, have a try at the mic. And they're like, you're a little pretty skinny girl. Just be there. You're nice to look at. Sit there. So those days that I had those experiences, I wrote and I wrote and I wrote so much. I write on my phone. So I've lost a couple of phones. I don't know where they go, but I'll know when someone's rapping my raps. I practiced and I practiced and I was very patient with myself, and I knew that eventually things will translate into something bigger. And it's really, I think I should write a seminar on my life, because it's very crazy how I am at this point now, where my name is a Namibian household name, and I get very emotional. I get very emotional because I pushed so hard and I was so patient, and people don't understand that good things don't come at once. So I think patience, also, doing a 6-year degree, not failing, not repeating subjects, it was really hard. So I was patient with myself. The third P is perseverance. And it ties in with my previous point, which was patience, where I kept on going. And there were many times I stopped. Many times I performed in front of people who booed me. Many times I was standing in the hospital trying to explain what I read, but it's not what the consultant wanted. He's like, you need to do better. You need to do better. And you're just here on stages. What are you concentrate? I was like, no, man. And so I made it a thing for myself to be best at both, because I do love medicine and I do love helping people. And I was like, you know what? This is my chance to show them that I can do this. And in that, I look back and I see a whole trail of little girls saying, oh, I want to be like you. And I didn't know. It was so subconscious, where I was doing these things because that's the type of individual that I am. But then I didn't see who was influencing at the back. So it also ties in with what Kali was saying, that, who you are on social media really, really matters. So that was perseverance. And then the fourth P, we're at 4 now, is psyche. Is that I prepared myself for all the battles. I prepared myself in the sense that I knew that I was an independent artist. I knew that I was a female in a male-dominated industry. I knew that I was a female in the hospitals, also influenced largely by male doctors. And I knew where I needed to go. And I'm still on the way there. I haven't obviously reached that place yet. But I programmed my mind to think and act a certain way. Definitely sort of having settings to your life and settings to your goals. And it doesn't need to be, you don't need to blow up I didn't blow up, guys. Everyone's timing is different, but as long as you have that mentality and that psyche and you tell yourself, this is what I want from this, It's also being very intentional with what you want. You need to be intentional with your goals. And also set your settings, your psyche. Purpose, obviously, and passion. I believe that it was my purpose to be a rapper. It was my purpose to be a doctor. And I'm sorry, and I asked God, you know what, look, you put me here, so you need to take me out of here. And I had a very, very enlightening talk with Lazarus Jacobs. He wanted to know who I am. And I thought that was a very weird space. I was like, why would he want to know who I am? He literally told me, Lioness, I want to sit down with you and know who you are. And I think that was a very necessary sort of leap to understand myself, because when I spoke, I knew that I knew myself more than I actually do. So I knew my purpose, and he told me, you don't understand the things that you're doing now for later. Some things look very futile, and you're like, why am I doing this? And I'm struggling, and I've been rapping with a little mic, and now, I'm broke because I spend money on videos. And what is my purpose here? And a lot of people will say, oh, you're a doctor and you earn enough money, which we don't actually. We don't earn that much money as interns. Why am I doing this? Why am I broke? Why am I traveling from here to there for a show, and I'm getting peanuts, and everything had purpose. The moment I understood that whatever I do, if I have the right mindset, it's intentional, it will get me somewhere. The moment I started doing things because I just did them, the outcome was nothing. So I would do a music video and I'll be like, okay, this is my last money. I would get a gig that's 2 times more. And the reason why I was like, this music video is important because I'm a visual artist and I need to translate my art like this. I can't say I'm going to release a single and the single comes out and people don't even know me like that. They know that Lioness has a story. And I told myself that no matter how broke I am, this is who I am as an artist. I'm a visual artist. And so, God blessed me in different ways, giving me gigs that were 10 times more, recognition. And I saw that it all meant that because I had purpose, I had reached my short-term goals. And the last P, I think I even will add another P after this. The last P is planning, obviously. I'm a pessimist also. So a lot of things that I do are very meticulous. I sit down with my calendar or my phone and I plan and I say, Lioness, these are your goals. And I do it 6 months because 6 months works for me. Some people do 2 months, they work faster. Some people do 3 months, it works for them. So I think that planning was very important because when I'm at a show and I know I have to go back to the hospital to be on call the next day, I tell them, please don't put me last because I'm not interested in that. Put me at the beginning or somewhere in the middle so I can go home, sleep, shower, wake up, go to the hospital, I also move around my calls or I move around my shows because I understand that, planning is very, very meticulous in this industry. I am not a superhuman. I'm not anything special. I just have a strategy that works for me. And those are my 6 Ps. Thank you.